Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Laura and I am a reseller, which just means that I sell pre-owned clothing, shoes, and accessories online and give them a second life. Please excuse the noise outside if you can hear that. I do live in a city and sometimes there's noise. There's nothing we can do about it. In today's video, I'm really excited because I'm going to basically be giving you a glimpse into how I do my inventory. So I've been getting a few questions on Instagram about how I stay organized, how I keep my inventory system, and how I keep track of how much profit I made per item, which I do using a spreadsheet, and I'm gonna show you all of that in this video today. So I have a bunch of stuff that I have not put into inventory yet, and I'm gonna show you the process from beginning to end, and I'm gonna show you my spreadsheet and everything. So stay tuned if you're interested in learning about any of this. If you are a newer reseller, I think this will be really helpful for you because maybe you don't have the tools yet or the systems in place that you need to really scale your business and be successful. So stay tuned if this sounds interesting. Let's get right into it. So right now I have these 4 bags of inventory that have not been processed. These are fresh from the thrift store. They are basically unlisted in terms of my process. So they are not photographed. They are not put into my spreadsheet. I haven't accounted for the cost of goods for these items yet. These are just brand new from the thrift store. So we're gonna start here. All right, folks, this is my spreadsheet. So as you can see, there's a lot going on. If you can see down here at the bottom, these different tabs, I have a lot of them. And basically, I'll go through each section briefly, but I'll do this in a little bit more detail later in the video. But basically on this spreadsheet, I have my key over here, which is really just the different categories that I separate my items into when I process them into inventory. This is what I use. That's really the only thing on that sheet. This is my profit spreadsheet, and I'm really giving you an in-depth look right now. I figured now is a good time to do this because I really am ramping up. I haven't really entered everything for September yet because the month isn't over, but just temporarily I put the basic info on there. But this is what this spreadsheet looks like. And like I said, I will go through this in greater detail. But next up, we have my expenses spreadsheet. So this is my expenses sheet. So anytime that I spend money for my business, and that includes like everything, like you'll see tape rolls, tape dispenser, every single thing that I use, I will put in here. And basically that is how I keep track of all the money that I've spent. And then down here, you'll see my average cost of goods, which is calculated based on everything that I've ever bought, is around $6. This is how much I've ever spent or invested in my business. This is how much I've ever made in my business. So then this is really the bottom line. That's how much I've profited in this business since I started, or since the beginning of this year. And I am a newer reseller, so really just this month I've been ramping up to full-time capacity. So these numbers probably look kind of small, and that's because I am newer. Now, this is really the section that I spend the most time in, which is the active listings section. These are all the listings that I have right now that are unsold. And some of these items are color coded. So like if it's orange, it was sent to ThredUp. If it's this light blue color, then my friend gave it to me, and I'm selling her items on consignment, so I wanted to make sure I differentiated those. The red ones, there was just some confusion, so I need to just go back and look at those. But basically, this is my entire spreadsheet. You can see I have the inventory number over here, and I'll go into the process of how I do that. The brand is here. The item is described here. This is pretty much whatever my title is on Poshmark. Then I have the category, which you saw in the key earlier. That's how I do the coding for that. then whatever size it was, the date that I purchased it, the cost of goods for the item, and then we get into when I listed the item. And I keep track of this because I like to know how many days something took to sell. So I like to keep track of when an item was listed on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and I just started listing on Tradesy, so I do have a column for that now. And then the listed price. So what did I list the item for? Then once it sells, I will fill out the rest of these columns. So what day did it sell? What did it sell on? Was it Poshmark, eBay, Mercari? How many days did it take to sell? Which I will calculate using whatever date it was listed. So if the item sold on eBay, let's say this item sold and it sold on eBay, I would use this date to figure out how many days it sold, not the date that it was listed on Poshmark, obviously. Then the sold price, how much did it sell for? What was the fee from the app? What was the shipping cost, if there was any? And then I will use that to calculate the gross profit. And the net profit is the gross profit minus the cost of goods. So I'll show you an example of what that looks like. This sheet is all the listings that I've ever sold. And the color coding was something that I did, and it was basically based on what app it sold on, but it's not really relevant. So these are all the items that I've ever sold, and I have them in a separate column. So there's active and then sold. Once it's been sold, I delete it from active. Then we have month by month breakdowns. So I have these all the way through to the end of the year or to the beginning of the year. And basically this is everything that sold in September. So this will be able to show you a good example of how I do the rest of this stuff. So for example, this piece, this was a Lucky Brand belt. I purchased it on the 21st of August. It cost me $4. I listed it on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari on the 21st, and it sold on the 1st. So it took 11 days to sell. It's sold on Poshmark. I had it listed for $35, but it sold for $20. And that was an offer because there was no shipping cost. So that means I didn't send an offer. So $20, $4 Poshmark fee, $0 shipping cost. My net profit was $16. And my revenue, you'll see I have a formula in there for that. So my revenue was this number, net profit, minus my cost of goods, okay? So that's how I know that I made $12.01 on that piece. And that's what I do for every single thing that I sell in here. And then at the bottom, I have all of these calculations that are basically just formulas that will do all the math for me. So my first formula will be cost of goods. So it's just a sum formula. So you just do equals sum, and then you take everything above it. So of the items that I sold online in September, the cost of goods was around $350. Okay, so that's what I spent on all of these items. These sold for $2,521. That's what they sold for, the price that the buyer paid. The app made over $400 on me this month. And shipping costs came out to $166 this month. Some of that is on Mercari. I do provide free shipping. So Mercari will always be a shipping cost. And then some of it is like eBay, for example. This piece that sold on eBay actually sold for $50. That was my asking price, so it didn't sell for $58. I just put the full price that they paid me so that once I pay for shipping, I can just make it a little bit more accurate instead of putting, because there is a shipping cost, and sometimes it's more than what I charge and sometimes it's less. So that's how I do it for eBay. So the shipping cost will probably look a little higher than it really actually is, because in that case the buyer did pay for shipping, but that $7.84 is calculated into the shipping cost because it's just easier for me to do the math that way. I hope that made sense. The net profit is going to, again, just be the sum of all of these rows. And so my net profit on all of this was $1,949 in September. And my revenue is my net profit minus my cost of goods. So this number is actually just the sum of all of these revenue columns, but it would be the same as if I took this and subtracted this number, the cost of goods. So just so you know, that would be the same number. And then down here, I also have an average sales price calculation, which is basically just the average of everything in this column of the sold prices. So my average sales price for September is around $33, which I'm really happy with. My goal is $35, so very happy with that. And this is the average days that most of my items took to sell. So on average, it takes things about 2 months to sell for me. Down here, I have my projections. So I'm not gonna go too in depth into these numbers in this video, but if you're interested in hearing how I calculate all of this stuff, let me know. But these were basically my projections for September. So you'll see I'm very close. I'm filming this on September 29th. So I think I will hit my projected sales for the month. And my projected revenue was 1,603. So I'm very close there as well. The revenue percent, I'm calculating as this number, my total revenue divided by the sold price. So basically I'm trying to figure out by using this number, what percentage of the sold price am I actually taking home? And I can use that to make projections in the future. So if I sell $5,000 worth of items, and my average revenue percentage is about 63%. I can take 5,000 times 0.63, and I can figure out how much I would actually make from that. And again, I can go into this more, but this is just sort of an overview. And this is just me trying to figure out what percentage of my revenue is going towards rent for my storage unit. I want that to be right around 12%, and that's where it is, so I'm happy with that. And then this is my profit margin. So the calculation for profit margin is your net profit minus your cost of goods divided by your net profit. So my profit margin is around 82%, which is really, really good. And then I have a week by week breakdown over here so I can see how I'm doing on a weekly basis. So that is basically an overview of my spreadsheet. Now, when I have these items that I showed you that I'm now going to be putting into my inventory spreadsheet, I will basically come into active listings, and my inventory spreadsheet is sorted by brand, but these items at the bottom that are kind of random, you can see like these are all sorted alphabetically by brand. But then these were the most recent items that I added, because whenever I add things to my spreadsheet, I just come down to the bottom. So I am actually going to just resort this spreadsheet so that I can keep track of what the newest items are, because I like to have the newest items on the bottom. So I'm going to be sorting by brand. So now we're back to everything being by brand, and now I can start fresh down here on my spreadsheet. Okay, so the next step in my process will be to get out all of my receipts, which I have here for all of the stuff that I just purchased. I always keep my receipts, and I do keep them stored after I input them into my spreadsheet, because you really want to keep that data when it comes time to pay taxes and all of that stuff. So I have my receipt here, and I have my first item out that is ready to be put into inventory. So at this store, there was a big sale going on, so red tags were 99 cents. So a lot of times, like, I like to do this right shortly after I buy the items, because I want to make sure that I remember how much everything costs. Even though you have a receipt, it doesn't say like Banana Republic sweater 99 cents. You know, it says like women's sweaters. So you have to kind of remember which one was which. So what I do is I like to just write next to, on the receipt, I like to just write like banana. It's hard to do this with one hand. So I know that that's the Banana Republic sweater. It ended up only being 99 cents. So then I'll just put a check mark next to that. Again, sorry about my terrible handwriting. I'll just put a check mark next to that so that I know that this has been accounted for. And I'll go into here and I'll type in Banana Republic as the brand. I'm doing this all with one hand, so again, excuse my slow typing. So I'm just gonna fill all this in and then I will come back. Okay, so I just filled in all of this information. So you'll see I put the brand, Banana Republic, the item, I just describe it kind of basically what it was, and then I can always go back and change that once I actually list the item and come up with the listing title for it. Category, sweater, that's the code for it. Size, medium, date purchased, I bought this on the 26th on Saturday, cost of goods, 99 cents. Now the rest of this won't get filled out until I actually list the item. So once I list the item, I will add the date that I listed it and what price I listed it for. And then the rest of it won't get filled out until the item sells. So that's basically what I do. I'm gonna do a few more and then I will show you. Okay, so I did just finish putting in the things I got at this thrift store. I only got 5 things, so this wasn't a huge trip, but I just wanted to show you how it looks. So basically I had these 5 items. I'll show you what they are. I got these American Eagle skinny jeans. They're just like this washed black. They're the sky high jeggings. They're high rise. And these were $9.44, but they were half off. So they were $4.72. So I picked those up. This is also American Eagle. I love this jacket. It's so cute. It's a really high quality jacket. It has like a faux fur lining. It's like a bomber / puffer coat. It's in this really cool army green color, size large, and this was full price. So this was the only color tag that wasn't, or no, there were 2 color tags that weren't half off. So that one was full price. So you can see on my spreadsheet, I have my army green puffer bomber jacket, $10.49, and then the sky high jeggings were $4.72, size 6. And then over here, I also have this J. Jill sweater. This one was half off, so it was $2.62. And this Splendid sweater, Splendid, was also half off. So basically, I just input all of these into my spreadsheet. You can see them all right there. And I also made a note on the receipt just because I like to keep track of when I'm inputting these, especially if I have a really long receipt. It's nice to kind of check off when something has been accounted for. And then what I do, just to double check my work, I will delete this. I'll do a quick calculation of the sum of all of these items just to make sure that it equals the number on the receipt. So you can see $21.44, and that is how much I was charged. So the last step will be to go into my expenses sheet, which I showed you earlier. And I'll have to add a column or a row. And I'm going to now put this amount into my expenses sheet so that it is accounted for. Okay, so you can see that I just put this amount into my expenses sheet. So I'll put the date that I spent the money, the date that is on the receipt, which was the 26th, how many items that I got, which was 5 items. Then my code for inventory is I always put inventory first and then wherever I got the inventory. So usually like SA is Salvation Army, GW is Goodwill. This was a church thrift store, so that's the kind of the name of it. And then where I got it. So that's kind of how I code my inventory to make it easier to find the receipts if I need to. And then the total cost that I spent, how much I was charged, and then the cost per item, I just I insert a calculation of this divided by this, and that's how I get the cost per item. And then automatically it will factor into my average COG, cost of goods, and it will get added to my total expenses, which will automatically update this formula because this formula is basically my net profits minus my expenses. So that is how I track my inventory from once I get it. So this is the first step, which would be processing the inventory. And after this, I will show you what the next step is. Okay, so it is later in the day and I just finished photographing all of my listings, and now I'm gonna show you the next step in the inventory process. So basically what I do is I will just go into Poshmark from my phone and I'll draft a bunch of listings. And I've already done some of these. So I'll draft all of the photos. I'll just basically upload all the photos that I took onto Poshmark. We're gonna click into this one. And I have the sweater here. So now what I'm going to do is I have a listing template, and basically it's just like all the things that I need to remember to include in the listing so that I don't forget. So it's description of item, unique features, keywords. Then I will include the materials, so cotton, silk, whatever. Then this is what my automatic, if there are flaws, I will note them or change the condition, but that's my automatic. Offers welcome, I always include that. Then I insert the size here and I put the measurements and then the inventory number. I also have one for bottoms or pants. And then I also have one for belts. So I basically copy and paste that into the description right here. And then I just insert the measurements. So I'm going to take the measurements now. Basically for tops and things like this, I'll just take the chest measurement, which is just armpit to armpit. It's hard to do this with one hand, but it's basically armpit to armpit. And then I do length, which is from the shoulder down to the bottom. So I'm gonna do that and then show you what's next. Okay, so I added the measurements, as you can see, and I changed the inventory number, and I also put the brand in the title. I put the brand in the title so that when I save this as a draft again, it indicates to me that the ones with a title are basically done, ready to go. They just need a description and all of that. But the ones without a title, without a brand in the title, need to be measured. So that's why I do that. And then I added the inventory number. So I folded up the sweater, put it in this inventory box or bag, which is Q006. I have basically the alphabet. And I will link all the materials that I use in the description. These are just Amazon bags. And that's pretty much it. So then I go back into my spreadsheet up here. I find this item, which is right here. And I put the inventory number, which is Q006. So now this item is inventoried, and I will show you the last and final step once I get to it, which is to bring the items to my storage unit and put them in their appropriate boxes. Okay, I'm gonna make this part short and sweet because I'm having an allergy attack today and I just need to be done with this day. So I'm going to just show you guys the last step in my process of keeping things organized in my inventory system. Basically, I added all of this that you're seeing has gone through the process that I just showed you, and it is now in the bags ready to be put into inventory. So I'm just going to show you how that works. So basically I will bring these bags here and check their number, find the corresponding bin, and I'm gonna put this in the bin. Now, this part is optional, but I do keep the bins numerically organized so that when I come in to find something, I know that if it's 1, it's going to be here, and 2, 3, so on. So 6 is here. So I'm going to put 7 right in here. There we go. And then I do have a couple to go on top. And that is pretty much the entire process. I will link everything that I use in the description box below. I do basically use the same tools that Jenna at Empty Hanger uses. I just find that they fit nicely within the storage unit, and I have a lot of room to grow. I can fit 1 in there, and I can fit 3 on this side as well. So that is my process. So that's the entire process from start to finish. I feel like it probably goes without saying, but when an item sells, I will go into my inventory spreadsheet, find the item and check the inventory number, and then I can go back to my storage unit and pull the item very easily because it's all super organized. So that's how I stay organized. That's how I keep track of how much I've spent, how much money I'm making. I really hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, it would mean a lot to me if you would give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share this video with other resellers you know that might be starting and needing an inventory system and process, and feel free to leave any comments down below with any questions you may have. But thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!